continue on with kind of review and using what we know to make some kind of drawing program. And then we're going to get into keys in a couple of minutes, but let's just go through this first. So right now, our drawing program that we have here is kind of limited to just using one of our mouse buttons. We have an if mouse press, it just automatically happens actually on the left or the right one. So let's do this. Let's set it up so we can get a little more variation where all of this is happening just on the left mouse button, and then we can have some different shapes that are happening on the right mouse button, and then we get some variety to happen on the left mouse button. So I could add that into each one of these statements. I could add an and mouse button equals left, and mouse button equals left, and mouse button equals left, but that's a little redundant. Why not just put that in my overall if mouse pressed? So the main condition to get any of these is my mouse has to be pressed and mouse button has to equal left. Oh, I definitely misspelled button. There we go. All right, so now none of this will work on the right mouse button. So what I'm going to do, just to kind of, for the sake of time, is I'm going to do a little copying and pasting here. I'm going to copy all of this in the last two brackets. So I'm not taking the very last bracket because that's for the closing for my draw. I'm going to copy all of that and I'm going to paste it. I'll put in some comments, right side. I'm going to paste it below. And now I'm going to switch this to say right. Okay, so all of these things happen on the left mouse button, and everything that's down below here will happen on the right mouse button. And if I've done this correctly, above that I should have two closing brackets, one for the closing for my if mouse press and mouse button equals right, and one the closing for the last if statement. Now I start in everything for the right. So at the end I have three closing statements. The first one is for my last if statement. The next one is for the closing of the mouse button equals right, and then this is the closing for my draw. All right, so but I don't want them to do the exact same thing on either the left or the right. So I need to change some things out. So maybe I'll just swap this to being a square, and maybe I'll change the color as well and make this one a circle and change the color. Just something so that I can like visualize it and see the difference. And maybe this one I'll just simply change the stroke, something like that. All right, so right side, all of these things, they're slightly different, but I kept this part the same. You don't have to, but that's just kind of for the sake of simplicity. All right, mouse I get one thing, and with my right mouse I get another, and then the left. And same thing over here, left mouse, right mouse. It was just a white stroke, so it's not that noticeable. Over here, left mouse and right mouse. All right. So that's kind of cool. We've now incorporated a lot of different things into our if statements here. We've controlled on the y-axis, we've controlled on the x-axis, we've controlled on the left mouse button, and on the right mouse button we get something different. But then it's kind of limited. This is all we can do. And what if we wanted to draw like a landscape or make a drawing program to create a landscape? And we'd want to be able to maybe have like 4 or 5 different kinds of brushes on top of themselves in the same area. You know, imagine if you're trying to draw like a tree, so you have to draw the branches, and then you have to draw the leaves, and then maybe you want to draw some flowers or I don't know, something on it. So things would have to get layered and layered. And here the best we can do is have 2 things on top of themselves, one on the left button and one on the right. Practice for just understanding about if statements. This is not how we're going to do the drawing program. The drawing program we're going to use with keys, and then we might control using statements like this, like where our mouse X, our mouse Y shows up with some of our keys. And I'll do that in the next video.